Army, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new babe, hit the subscribe button because you're gonna want to stay. If you're returning, hey besties, it's so good to see you again. We're back with another Daniel Fast friendly meal prep. You guys have been loving this content. I've received a number of DMs and comments sharing how these videos make your Daniel fasting a little bit easier by providing you guys the grocery list and some fun recipes that are Daniel Fast compliant. First of all, let me check in on y'all. How are we feeling? I pray that each and every one of you that is on this fast are receiving the closeness and the clarity from the Lord that your heart is desiring. I'm praying for your endurance to continue on and finishing strong. I'm here to remind you and encourage you, if you had any slip-ups on your fast, it is okay. Just pick yourself back up and get back to the regularly scheduled program. There's no need to throw the entire fast away because you slipped up and ate something or did something or didn't spend as much time with the Lord as you wanted to. Give yourself some grace. In this meal prep, I'm gonna share with you guys quite a few recipes. A lot of you guys were asking about snacking options, so I wanted to make sure that I provided you with some snacking and breakfast options. Breakfast is always the hardest one for me, but I think I found my absolute favorite. It's the first recipe that I'm gonna share with you guys. It is a blueberry crumble bar that is literally, oh my gosh, all of the chef's kisses. Y'all already know, pause to read my disclaimer. Just as a reminder, all of my recipes and the grocery list for this prep will be down below in the description box. Just click the Canva link and it will bring you to a PDF. You can screenshot it, download it, however you wanna have it, so it's yours. And with that, let's get into this meal prep. We are kicking off this meal prep strong because this is probably my favorite recipe that you will see in today's video. We are making a blueberry crumble bar, which is literally, oh my gosh, so good. So in a pan, you're gonna take some fresh blueberries, a little bit of water, some date syrup, and a little bit of lemon juice, which is optional. I just feel like lemon juice and fruit go together real bad. You're gonna saute this for about 5 to 7 minutes, being sure to mash up your berries and allowing it to cook on the stove so that it reduces into this thick, almost jammy-like texture. While that's cooking, you're gonna go ahead and prepare the base of the bar, which consists of oats, oat flour, peanut butter, date syrup, salt, and coconut oil. You're gonna go ahead and give that a really good mix until it forms a dough. The dough is gonna be kind of sticky, but not too sticky to the point where you're not able to manage. In a cute little loaf pan, I love this loaf pan, she is so cute. I'm gonna take the rest of the coconut oil, whatever was left over in the bowl that I melted it in, and I'm gonna brush the interior of the pan and take 3/4 of the oat mixture and press it, going between my hands and a spatula. My hands work the best, but you know, if some people are weird about it, you can just use a spatula. Once it's in an even layer, you're gonna go ahead and transfer the cooled blueberry mixture like this. Take the rest of the oat mixture and crumble it all over the top. This, oh my gosh, you guys, just looking at this footage again and editing it is so good. Once you crumble up all of the mixture on top, be sure to press in the oat mixture into the jam so that it's all cohesive. And then you're gonna pop it into the refrigerator overnight, or at least for about 3 hours to set. Once the bars are set, take them from out the refrigerator and cut into either 5 bars, or you can make 10 squares, up to you, but I like the whole bars. And look at them. My mouth is watering just looking at them. They were so good. I like to pop mine in the microwave for about 30 seconds because I didn't like them cold, but this is them, y'all. This is them. Next up, I am trying my hand at hash browns. I have never made a hash brown from scratch before, so this was definitely an experience, but it was a great one. First and foremost, you're gonna start by peeling 4 potatoes. I'm actually really not great at peeling potatoes. I learned in this experience. I think I'll purchase a vegetable peeler because I was taking too much of the potato off with the skin, but don't worry, we had enough potatoes to go around. Once the potatoes are peeled, I let them sit in a little bit of cold water before using this really cool shredder. I love this thing. I got it on Amazon Prime, so I will update my Amazon storefront for you guys, but I went ahead and shredded with the large shredder size, and I just shredded all 4 potatoes. Now it's time to remove as much of the starch from the potato, so I'm piling my potato shreds into my salad spinner, which I also got from Amazon, and I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it really well. You're gonna see some bubbles and suds in there. I am not using soap. This is just the starch from the potatoes. I'm gonna rinse it until the water runs about pretty much clear. This part is really important. You want to get as much moisture out of the potatoes as possible. If you do not have a salad spinner, you could also use cheesecloth. And if you don't have either of these items, don't stress. You can just use a bunch of paper towels and do your best to blot them dry and allow them to dry out, just sitting out on the counter for a little bit. We want maximum crispiness and not sogginess on these hash browns, so just try to get as much of the moisture out as you can. I'm using my electric griddle. I'm going to brush on some olive oil. You're going to need more olive oil throughout this process to help with the browning process, but to start, I'm using a thin layer of some olive oil and allowing it to get hot. In a bowl, I'm going to take my shredded hash browns and season them with onion powder, a little bit of salt, and some garlic powder, and give them a good mix. I brushed with a little bit more olive oil to help with the browning process, and you're gonna go ahead and make your little hash brown patties. I needed to use my hands and the tongs to really help me shape the patties. You can make them into whatever shape you want. I just figured like the regular long, crispy, oval shape. And we're gonna let this cook for about like 8-ish minutes. Cooking on the first side took a little bit more time because you also want to make sure that the potatoes on top are getting soft as well. I would really say it took about 8 to 10 minutes on the first side and then maybe like 6 minutes on the other side. And when it's time to flip them, I will just give you the disclaimer right now because I didn't have anybody to tell me this, but if you remove the starch, there is less binding, so it's a little bit harder to flip the hash browns. So please utilize your hands safely because it's hot with the help of a spatula. Don't worry if it kind of falls apart. You could just push the pieces back together. I promise once it starts to get golden on the other side, it will basically stick together and hold its shape. Once they're done, take them off the griddle and do your next batch. This made about 10 hash browns for me. I've been using my hash browns to do a hash brown avocado toast. So I'm just using this pre-packaged mashed avocado. The only ingredient is Hass avocados. There are no additives. I just spread it on top, season with a little bit of salt and red chili flakes, and this has been one of my go-to breakfasts. Lately, I've been really wanting to snack while on the Daniel fast, and aside from fruit, I'm like, what else can I be doing? And of course, I'm gonna make some chips and salsa because chips and salsa is always the move. I'm making my own oat tortilla wraps. I made this before on one of my previous Daniel fast meal preps, but all you need are some oats, water, and seasoning. I'm making a mess right now, but just get it all into a blender. I doubled the recipe this time, so I used 2 cups of oats, 3 cups of water, and then my seasonings of choice. I used garlic powder, salt, and a little bit of chili powder, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it up. I prefer to make the tortilla wraps when the batter is on the thinner side. I feel like it just makes for a crispier chip. You'll have to thin out the batter as this process goes along because the longer the oats sit in the water, it becomes more thick, like a pancake, which will result in a thicker tortilla. All you're doing is frying them up like pancakes. I wanted a little bit of color on both sides, nothing too crazy, because once we air fry them and they become chips, they'll get a little bit darker as well. Now to make the chips, I stored mine in a gallon-sized bag and put them in the refrigerator overnight. I'm going to go ahead and lay them out and brush each of them with a little bit of olive oil to help with the crisping process. And we're going to go ahead and cut them into quarters. I just stacked them, quartered them, and popped them in the air fryer for about 17 minutes at 380 degrees. I also sprinkled with a little bit of chili powder. You don't have to do this. I probably won't do it next time because I felt like it burned, like it just made the chips look a little bit darker, but they tasted fine. I really like these chips because they're not super thin, but they're not as thick as a pita chip, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. They tasted really, really good too. Adding the seasonings into the batter was just a really great idea. I don't know why I didn't do it last year, but you live and you learn. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys two salsa recipes. The first one is a fresh mango salsa, which I featured on my channel before, but it's really just so good. You need some mangoes, red pepper, red onion, cilantro, jalapeno, seasonings of choice, garlic, and lemon. It's literally that easy. My seasonings were salt, red chili flakes, cumin, and a little bit of chili powder. It's literally as easy as chopping your veggies. I won't lie to you, you will be chopping for quite a little bit, but it's so worth it because the salsa turns out perfect. You could just never go wrong with a mango salsa, and this is what it looks like. It's just so easy. Once everything is chopped, you just put it in a bowl, stir it together, and then boom, snack. This also really holds up well with the oat tortilla chips. Really a bomb combination. For storage, you could transfer it into a glass airtight container. This also will hold its integrity for up to 5 days in the fridge, but I promise you it won't even last that long. My second salsa is like a black bean salsa, or I've heard people call it a cowboy caviar, whatever that is. I don't know. I'm using a base of black beans with basically the same ingredients I used in the previous salsa, but I added some corn, tomatoes, orange pepper, jalapenos, red onion, cilantro, and then the same seasonings. And then of course add some lemon juice and olive oil. Give it a good mix and you have a very quick and easy black bean salsa. It's really not hard at all. It's just the chopping all of the veggies that is like very tedious. But once you try it, you won't even focus on the amount of prep work it took because it's that good. This salsa will also hold up in the fridge for about 5 days. Again, it probably won't last you that long. And on some days, I actually add a little bit of avocado to my portion to spice it up. And lastly, we are making a black bean soup. I've also featured this on my channel before, but it wasn't in a Daniel Fast one, so I thought I would run it back because it's so good. You're gonna need 2 tomatoes and you're going to finely chop them. I don't really like when there are big chunks of tomatoes in soups for me, so the smaller I can get it, the better. It really won't matter down the line because we are gonna blend the soup. You're also going to need an entire yellow onion, and I'm gonna cut it pretty small, about the same size of the tomato, just to make the cooking process quick and easy. Now to a pot, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil and I'm going to saute the tomatoes and the onions. I'm gonna sweat them down for about 3 minutes and add a little bit of garlic in the process, just until they're nice and translucent. Now that our veggies have sweated down, I'm gonna go ahead and add the following seasonings. I'm doing this before adding any liquid because I want the seasonings to toast to bring out the most flavor. Once all the seasonings are added, go ahead and give it a good mix. We're gonna allow it to toast for about 1 to 2 minutes, and you'll notice that they'll start to smell really fragrant. Then you're gonna add in your black beans and some vegetable broth and give it a mix. You're also gonna wanna season this really well with some salt because I feel like beans actually need a lot more salt. So I added salt twice in the process because I didn't add enough in the beginning. Be sure to taste for seasonings again and then lower the heat and simmer for about 30 minutes on the stove. Once 30 minutes was up, I've removed about 3/4 of the soup mixture and put it in the fridge to cool it down so that I could blend the soup. Try not to make it super smooth like I did if you prefer to have a little bit of texture in your soup. Just pulse it a couple of times to get it to your desired texture. Once you've blended it up, add it back into the pot, give it a good mix and simmer for an additional 20 minutes. Then it's time to do my favorite thing, which is plating. You're gonna ladle the soup into a bowl, top it with some avocado, jalapenos, some homemade pico de gallo, and a little bit of cilantro for extra razzle dazzle, and here you have it, your new favorite black bean soup. Okay guys, so this is this week's meal prep. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop me a blueberry emoji and let me know what your favorite recipe from this meal prep was. Mine was definitely the blueberry crumble bars. I cannot get enough of them. I made them twice. I'm covering each and every one of you guys in prayer, standing in agreement for the things that you are praying for, and pray that you are having a wonderful time fasting, learning and growing and developing your relationship with the Lord. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also be sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time I drop a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you in my next.